Good afternoon. My name is Hector Garcia, and this is a new video for the class of migration and health in the weekly video guidelines. And well, yeah, this is the first part of the transmissible diseases. Let's talk about microbiology, not only epidemiology, also the clinical infections, the diseases, and how it affects different stages. And let's go on. First of all, of course, I was assigned to read to interpret three articles. The first one is the clinical microbiology and infection. It starts talking about 2016, specifically in Europe. Why Europe? Well, because the vast majority of population of immigrants are from different African countries such as Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. And in those countries, there are a lot of challenges in the health system. What I'm trying to say here is that almost all the migrants from Africa decides to go to Europe because, well, maybe they probably are looking for a better place to stay, a better place, talking in job. Maybe they're looking for a better lifestyle and so on. But something that is so important is to know which of the infectious diseases are the priority. The first one and the most important one is the tuberculosis. Yeah, I don't know if it's pronounced yet the same way like in Spanish, but yeah, tuberculosis. It's a dangerous disease. It's like a kind of bacteria that affects the alveoli in the pulmonary system. And so, well, yeah, there are some treatment, but it's still harmful and it affects a lot of population. But not only tuberculosis is a priority, we also have the hepatitis B, C, and the HIV, basically. So yeah, when we think about Africa and people traveling to different continents, we should think about how their health life is, because some of them are surrounded around multiple diseases, are around places where no hygiene, places where there are not a lot of water, and so on. Also, we have to ask ourselves if if we are treating a patient that is an immigrant, not only from Africa, from Oceania, Asia, and so on, we have to ask ourselves how is the vaccination history? Because in the article explained that um, some percentage has a historical incomplete of vacuums. So yeah, but well, I have already mentioned a lot of the African community and traveling to Europe, and tuberculosis the main one. But let's talk about Latin America, because here it's not tuberculosis at all. It's Chagas. That's the new one. So, what are the kind of conclusions that I get from this first article? First one, and the one that I like the most, is the vacuum, the new we have to be able to know to give some help to the vaccines. That I searched the word, sorry. If you see a little edit, I searched vaccines and the vaccination history. Okay, we should implement screenings. Okay, that way we will um, be more careful. Also, the screenings depending on which area you come from. As I said before, here in Latin America, well, maybe we should make a screening in Chagas as a disease. Maybe in Africa or Europe, because in Europe, all the population of the migrants, the tuberculosis one. But always looking for the vaccines and searching from the vaccination history. Okay. Now, on the second article, it's the title. It's named "Infectious Diseases at Different Stages." When we say stages, we always remember the three main points when we decide to travel to another country. The pre-migration, the first one, where we have to think that, for example, if an African, more than African, someone from Syria, for example, he decides he wants to travel to France. Well, in the pre-migration, we have to understand, we have to think that he's, as I said before, he's surrounded of multiple people that are, well, able to get some diseases, some microbiology infections. And also we have the migration as a main stage, the traveling, the whole process of being a migrant, where in that travel you can get multiple diseases. For example, if that person from Syria decides to go to France by a train, for example, or by a bus, well, maybe he can get a disease on the way to France. I don't know, a mosquito on the way when he opened the window or something like that. And last but not least, we have the post-migration, which is basically those times where the health system it's worse that we could have think about, because he doesn't get the treatment he deserves. So what's the main conclusion of all this? That we have to check the health um centers, hospitals, and make sure that they are treating the way migrants deserve, because we are all human beings and we all deserve the same equality of treatment. Okay. Sorry if I'm not talking louder. Yeah, I'm not feeling quite well right now, so sorry. And well, yeah. Last but not least, we have the last one. We have the tuberculosis and immigration. Immigration. Well, tuberculosis is it's interesting. In my personal opinion, I'm not a huge fan of the subject. I don't know, but well, this article, it was kind of cool because now I don't think all the time, thanks to this, with Mexico and United States. With this article that specifically talks about Spain, yes, Spain, now I can think of a different perspective more than here with our neighbors, the United States. Why are they talking about Spain? Because on Spain, it's one of the multiple countries, maybe it's the first one, the country with the most kind of population with tuberculosis, when migrants that gather the disease on the way going to on the way, huh? So something that I wanna recapitulate, I wanna I don't know, resume, conclusion. Social inequality. What's that has to be with the tuberculosis and immigration? Well, it's easy. Like like my dad one time said to me, well, he actually said that to me like a few days ago because I traveled to United States, but he said the way they see you, the way they will treat you. And that's true. I was in a restaurant, and social inequality. If someone from Afghanistan decides to travel to Spain and he doesn't have the beautiful clothes, expensive watch, he doesn't have money, he doesn't have papers. Of course, thanks to the social inequality, he's not going to be able to have a correct access to a health system in a maybe he will have a lot of difficulties to get a proper vaccine. So yeah, that's something that I really liked about. So we must do and check these screenings, okay? Especially in the area you are located, okay? If you are located in an area where there's a lot of tuberculosis, like here in Baja California, well, yeah, check it. So I have already mentioned the main points of these ratings, articles and all. And then thankfully, there wasn't something unclear or confusing to me. And it changed my way of thinking. I mean, yes, I didn't know the relationship with the tuberculosis and the priority, the Chagas. I didn't know Chagas was such an important disease in the Latin American community. And it changed my way of thinking. As I said before, now I'm gonna think more about Spain. Sorry. Was there anything I would like to explore more? Well, I would like to explain more about the pathophysiology of some of the diseases that I will have to fight against, such as tuberculosis, HIV, Chagas, so more. And one specific example, I already gave you multiple examples, like the guy from Syria traveling to France, and he 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 got bit by a mosquito on the way traveling to France. Maybe he's poor, or he has some bad clothes, uh, or rasp. Maybe he's injured. His t-shirt is kind of old, broken. I don't know. They're not gonna treat him the way they should. So yeah, basically that's everything. Thanks for watching this video and hope you have a nice day. Thank you.